listening to Soundcheck with the Moose.
Well, welcome to another full album review, Soundchecked, or I guess it's just me, Moose, reviewing the record. Real quick, some important things you need to know before we get into the full album review. I hold no allegiance to any band. Anonymous Henchmen is actually a band that's on Metal Coffee PR. So a lot of people right off the bat are going to go, well, he's going to love it because they're on his PR. I don't care, man. When I do a full album review, I step away from any business matters because these are meant to, I'm meant to be a producer, kind of an overseer, kind of guy that goes in and picks out things that the normal listener doesn't hear, and also suggest putting in the things that will make the normal listener go, yeah. Now, listen, what I'm trying to say is if it's awful, I'm going to tell you it's awful, and I'm going to give you the best suggestions that I have to make it unawful. That's what I do on these. Some bands send in records that are pretty flawless. Some bands send in records that are horrifying. So every song I'm going to kind of give you like, by the way, I have bit my tongue, so my tongue is swollen up. I'm sorry, I've been kind of tripping over my own words the past couple days. If you listen to the Rumble and you heard me say, tried to say globe, you understand. Anyway, it was terrible, man. I'm just going to tell you. So I don't care if you're on my PR or not. So, yeah, man, I'm doing my best here. I'm going to tell you a little bit after every song. Here's what I think about that tune and the reason why I like it or don't like it. And then at the end, I'm going to give a full kind of overview because I can't tell you if an album's good just song by song. But as we go through and the story's being told, I'm going to talk about the production, the guitar tone, the drum tone, the backing vocals, everything. I'm going to talk it really, really deep into detail if it needs to be, because sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the bands have got to figure it out. And also, real quick, this is just my opinion. That's all. Just because I like it doesn't mean I expect you to like it, or because I don't like it means that you shouldn't like it. It doesn't work like that. This is just one guy's opinion of this record. And listen, I've been doing it a long time, and I've been wrong. Trust me. I remember reviewing the In Flames album, Reroute to Remain, and I absolutely hated it. And years later, I ended up loving it. But at the time, I was like, this is terrible. And Jesper and Bjorn both just gave me hell for days. This is Anonymous Henchmen. We're going to start things off with track number 1, Money Kills. Let's see what we got going on Soundchecked Full Album Review.
where you get rated in tacos, only on Soundchecked.
I think it's always awesome when you open an album with not only a killer riff, but also a song, not just a bludgeoning of noise. It's not, to me, a good idea to. It's kind of like walking into a date naked. You know, let's save all the fun stuff for later. Let me show you right now how much of a gentleman I can be, and how here's a good reason why you need to hang out with me. And they did a good job with that. Now, I mean, some dates you walk in naked and they're happy with that. Those are fun. Don't get me wrong, but they opened up with showing that they can write a song. There's melody. There was a bridge. There was clean guitar. There was a lot of great things. There was a message. It was very big rock radio friendly. Nothing was overdone. I feel like there should be a little bit of production work on the guitars. I think some of the melody work in the guitars was lost due to just volume issues. The gain on the distorted guitar was so much higher than the melody. Also, I think the bass was a little heavy in places and not heavy enough in the other places. Just mixing stuff. So I don't know if the band mixed this or somebody else did, but beyond all that, excellent. I also think there's a good opportunities for in that tune. There were some good opportunities for the drummer to go off time on the hi-hat, which I've talked about this in other album reviews. I know that it may sound weird and maybe even sound like cliche to say this, but offbeat stuff makes people move. It makes people move. That's why EDM and house music is dance music, because that makes people move and it grabs their attention. It's not that you should do it all the time, but man, in certain places, even for just like 4 to 10 bars of the tune, if you just kick into that offbeat on your hi-hat and you use your ones and your threes instead of your twos and your fours, man, it really can just be enough to make somebody to go, man, that was what, and it just was stuck in their head for days. I liked it a lot. We're going to see if the album carries an attitude with it through the whole way, which is important. I think it needs to be something that carries a solid note, because when the albums are all over the place, it's hard to get into. So we're going to go into Devil's Advocate and see what they got for us on this one. By the way, I give that first song about a 3.75, maybe a 4 taco. Really good. Devil's Advocate, Anonymous Henchmen. We continue on the review.
poison, it'll make it feel like a red leather whip. I know there's consequences, but right now I'm not to fear. I fight your inquiry of war, but somehow I have yet to learn. I don't know why I always choose this path from which I won't return. I get shot to the head like a troop of monkeys that just won't escape my back. I'm walking a tightrope of bad decisions, and I'm braced for their attack. I didn't ask for your opinion, but it's too late to unknow. I bring the musings of a dead man, disappointment close to toe. Got a devil on my shoulder, whispering sweet nothings in my ear. The angel on the other side has a voice too, and this time I wanna care. The devil said take this poison, I screamed look what happened last time. Said you only live once, so thumbs up, here we go. I fight your inquiry of war, but somehow I have yet to learn. I don't know why I always choose this path from which I won't return. Until the sun's take one last night, got nothing left to give. The devil on the side has a point. The angel lives If you want to say the other side, you'll find it hard to enjoy the ride. Got a devil on my shoulder, whispering sweet nothings in my ear. The angel on the other side of the voice too, but who fucking cares? The devil said take this poison, as I said give me that cup, you bitch. Got nothing left to lose. Here we go. I fight your inquiry of war, but somehow I have yet to learn. I don't know why I always choose this path from which I won't return. Shot to the head like a troop of monkeys that just won't escape my back. I'm walking a tightrope of bad decisions, and I'm braced for their attack. I didn't ask for your opinion, but it's too late to unknow. I bring the musings of a dead man, disappointment close to toe.
Want to know if you suck? Send your music to Soundcheck.
All right, man. So, yeah, we continue kind of on the same level, and I like that. It's not all over the place. It's set a tone of what we're going to do, and the tunes, it's so far anyway, a couple songs in. And once again, I think that the only real problems I have are kind of mixing and production issues. I think that they're trying to create songs, which is a good deal because songwriting is such a lost art anymore. It's a lot of time it's just how much noise can we fit into this 4 minutes, or it's the other way around. How many different riffs and things can we do to show off in this time, and that just, to me, it kills a song. You know what I mean? Let's hear a tune. If you want to be a prog band, put out a prog record. I don't know, man. But so far, really, Anonymous Henchmen, and it's the reason why I asked them to be on Metal Coffee. When I listened to their music, I was like, these guys have the opportunity to really make some noise in the market, and it's also hard rock. It's a good hard rock band. I think it's a crossover deal. You know what I mean? Guys like me that are into Carcass, but also into Rammstein, can dig on this. It's got a good marketability to a wide audience. So I like that in the band. That last tune, I'm going to go down a little bit. It's probably more of a three taco deal. There was a lot of stuff that I feel like could have been rearranged, could have done some different things with the vocals that would have been a little more, acceptable to the ears to a lot of people, which isn't always important. Sometimes making a song unacceptable is what makes it so good. So anyway, but yeah, man, we're cruising along here. I'm digging it so far. We just go piece by piece and track by track, and I continue to talk about things that are good and bad, and then we wrap it up in the end. So we got a good hour going on here. So the next tune is called Not For Granted. The third cut on the record is actually an important one. We'll get into that later. But here we go. Not For Granted, the Anonymous Henchmen.
Walking away. All the truth and all your life through the false eyes.
Find Soundcheck on iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and in your local taco truck.
Like, I think that is the perfect example of a song to me that could do huge things for the band. But I think that it's funny. I go to a weird... I can't think of the word now. It makes me think of the song "The Entertainer" by Billy Joel. Not the song itself, but the reason that I think it could do great things. I feel like if we took that song and compacted the good things about it into about 3:30, and took out some of the other stuff and maybe did an extended mix of it. It's one thing that I've noticed a lot so far. Here's the keyboards. They're there, and I think that's important because they fill air so well. There was some really kind of circusy keyboard moments going on there in that tune, but I feel like that song compressed and arranged differently could be a huge hit. That's a good tune. That is a good fist bumper. With the keyboards, like I think that, I don't know that you're not going to, but I'm waiting for that. For that clean break with the heavy keyboard presence and maybe a clean guitar with a chorus on top of it and a really, really nice clean vocal somewhere. I'm waiting for that. It could be coming sometime soon. It's got some Linkin Park in it. It's got some elements of some very successful bands in it. It does have a little bit of its own tune. I'm working to find that signature that Anonymous Henchmen has. I'm waiting to find that. It's really good. That was a 4.5 tune right there. We keep going, man. I love the attitude is still real solid. They haven't broken up on that. The last tune was a good kick in a different direction. This song's called Alice. Let's do this.
Throughout the bliss, yeah.
Text in your request to the Soundcheck Taco line 424-666-7356.
Ford cuts into the album, and one of the things that I think is very important so far is, and I know I've mentioned this a couple times, is that the attitude, the swagger, moxie, however you want to put it, has been on a even keel. They haven't just dominated or rammed everything at you. They've come in nice packages. I really, really, really like the emotion in the vocal. I feel like there's good, there's meaning in what's being sang, and I think that that's important, because a lot of times, especially with music that has more of a growl to it, you lose a lot of that emotion. I like it's kind of a step back in a way to, like I said, I feel a lot of Linkin Park vibe going on, but I think that is it's missing in a lot of today's music. It has that angst, but it's understandable or relatable angst. You know, it's not Hammer Smash Face by Cannibal Corpse. I don't think that a lot of us have that angst in us. You know what I mean? This is relatable angst, and and a relatable is really one of the things that I'm kind of like a medium. You know, when I do this, that's one of the things I'm really, really feeling from the record so far. It's also very gosh, what is the word? It's organic. It doesn't feel forced, or doesn't feel overdone. I feel like the feeling and the emotion is such a big deal, because I think a lot of people can put out records similar to this, but it just be like a piece of ice, you know what I mean, or a cookie cutter. I can feel the originality coming out of it, even though it does have a lot of influences from other bands. And I'm gonna hit it on the head here in a little bit. It's gonna pop up and it'll be like, yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. But right now I'm leaning on the Linkin Park kind of wagon there. It's good stuff. And this is the single I think they're pushing off of the record. So let's hear this, because I think this is the one that I heard that I went, yep, these guys need to be with me. It's a tune called Never. It's the Anonymous Henchmen.
Hey, this is Maddox from Messer, and you're listening to Moose's Soundcheck on Metal Moose Radio.
All right, man. So, yeah, I'm going back a little ways. That was the tune that I listened to that I went, I think, anyway. I can't be 100% positive, but that has such commercial hard rock possibilities just written all over it. So many good things about that tune. And I think that the more I listen to the record, the more I go back to the entertainer kind of analogy I was making earlier. I feel like there's just a little bit too much meat on this. It's just a little bgoing overweight to get that rich guy attraction. You know what I mean? You know, you get the little skinny girl that's going to get all the attention, and then you get a little, you know, Anna Nicole Smith, who got the old guy and, you know, kind of laughed at the skinny chicks because she got millions of dollars because the old guy died. But there's just a little too much. I feel like these songs could really be trimmed and compressed into a much more hard-hitting deal. And so don't get me wrong when I say that, because the songs are good, and there's nothing wrong with the length exactly, but God, it's another analogy. It takes away the quickness of the strike of the song is just a little altered by how long it is. And that's something that I continually am feeling here with these tunes. Man, this is really good, but I would cut that part. Man, this is really good, but I really want you guitar player guys, and I know it probably wasn't you, it was probably the person who recorded it, to go listen to a Volbeat record and listen to how that lead guitar stands out over the rhythm, but still the rhythm is just chunky as death, but that lead just jumps out. And I feel like your melodies on your guitars, on your leads, are getting lost. I love I think it was the song before that had the staccato melody, but it was just buried. And that's something else. I think that there's different ways to utilize the bass. All of the playing is fantastic. The drummer is really, I love the snare tone. I wish the kick tone was a little heavier, and your toms aren't really quite deep enough for me, but but the snare cuts like glass. Excellent. Man, I'm having a good time with it. I mean, that's another 4.5 song, really good tune. Yeah, I'm having fun with this. The Anonymous Henchmen. Here's Inner Demon, number 6 on the record. Let's do this.
Is that a wasteful being?
Hey, rock fans, this is T. Singh,
Matt Vogt, Rob Pace,
and Joe Sanchez, and we're from
Drama Queen.
You're listening to the Metal Moose Radio Show where Oklahoma rocks.
I remember early on when I was like, I need some offbeat drumming. I need the keyboards. I need that electronic element to really stand out. It's going to make people dance. There it was. The elements of the keyboard were catching the attention. The offbeat drumming was beautiful, made you rock, made you move. And I also love that the lead was a dual lead, and it just had the bass below it, so it really stood out like an old Thin Lizzy song. Really good use of that. That was the first lead, though, that I've really heard on the record that stood out. First of all, the emotion of the lead was beautiful. It had a lot of the emotion. The tune was really good. That right there is a 5 Taco song. That was the right length. It had the right elements. It had the right emotion, right melodies, right everything. That should be a number 1 in rotation on Sirius Radio, Sirius XM, and Big Rock Radio around the country. That is a song that gets a band signed. That's a song that gets a band on big tours. That was the perfect example of it. So, like, all the way along up into this, I'm like, okay, so it's there. I know it's there. I'm just like trying to crack away at the little pieces that are keeping it from being as good as I know it can be. And that tune, Entertainment. See, I'm sorry. I really have this big whelp on my tongue, and it's hard to talk. That was the culmination of all the good things in the right places at the right times. Excellent song. That is the tune that, if I'm the manager of this band, that's the song I'm putting out to the radio stations, to the magazines, to the because that has enough youth in it and enough grit in it to bring a lot of people's attention, and also those elements like I was talking about with the offbeat and those the electronic elements. Excellent, damn good song. I don't think very many things that I would change at all about that song. That is what I would want to show people. If I'm in this band, that's the tune that I'm going, you need to hear this right here, buddy. We're going to whip your ass. And it's, man, what a good tune. So, very impressive. 5 Tacos. I don't give out 5 Taco ratings very often, but that was a good one. And it was worth the wait. You know what I mean? It wasn't so late in the record that you're like, come on. It was in a good place. So, Ministry of Thieves, the next tune, the Anonymous Henchmen. Let's check this one out. Let's see what they got for us on this one. It's Soundchecked.
Sorrow you bear, stranger, what's left from lost in your head.
This is Noah Shark from Motogrator, and you're listening to Moose's Soundcheck on Metal Moose Radio.
It's another killer example of a tune that, to me, needs very little different about it than what it is. Really good. I think that the length was better on that one. I would have utilized a key change in that. I also probably would have put a little bit more of the electronic pepper, I guess you should say, a little dash of some electricity kind of stuff in there, just to give it a little spark. The key change would have been a big deal. I think if you would have started out a half step down and jumped up a little bit, it would have given a little kick to the tune. But it's a nice one. It's another example of it's one of those things where it's so good, but there's something about it that makes you hesitate to like get into it. You know what I mean? And that's where Inner Demon. Inner Demon didn't have that, so it is such a great example of how good of songwriters these guys are. And I think that if this is the quote unquote bad side of Anonymous Henchmen, then holy crap, we've got so many good things in the future, because I don't consider this bad in any way, shape, or form. I've really thoroughly enjoyed the record as a whole, which is a big deal to me. I hate it when there's just a few pieces of a record I like. I want to be able to sit down. I know it's weird these days because people don't have the same attention span as I used to, but a full album it's an art, and they've done such a good job of keeping you in the same chapter. It's been very steady rock. It has not become overwhelming. It has. The one thing I really like is that it's never gone overboard. Everything is just kind of like, here are the things that we do, and we're really good at them, so we're going to give it to you. And then you got a guy like me coming along going, let's compress this. And I'm afraid that I don't want the band to take that as a negative comment, because it's not. I like what's going on. I would recommend this band to hard rock people. To me, this isn't metal. It's hard rock. And that's cool because it's good hard rock. And it's also got a lot of youth to it, which I think is a cool deal. So we're going to move on. That was a good. I'd probably give that a 4 taco. Pretty good, man. We're going to move on to Light Switch. Getting close to the end. It's Anonymous Henchmen. Yes.
Of you, demand you a spirit, and then
Hey, this is DJ from Revel 9, and you're listening to the Metal Moose.
And once again, I mean, I'm kind of sitting back just in awe to me, like how really good this and incredibly close it is to, this is a great example of why I started doing what I do. There were so many bands out there that were as good or better than the music I was hearing on Big Rock Radio that people weren't paying attention to. I don't think enough people know about these guys. And that's not their fault. The internet is flooded with a hiccup there. Wow. Every band from all over the planet Earth. So you really got to have somebody pinpoint and push you. That's what I'm trying to do with the PR for these guys, and I'm going to continue pushing because I think there's so many possibilities of great things for this band. If somebody could get me some like lidocaine or shoot it in my tongue, that would be awesome because it hurts like hell and I can't talk. But yeah, that's another Four Taco song right there. I mean, I think that the continuing issue for me is the lack of sharpness in the lead guitar. It was a bummer. I like the keyboards. Sometimes I think they're a little misplaced, but that's not a big deal. It's not like I'm not going to listen to it. My main deal is the lack of sharpness in the leads, because the melody, although it's being carried by the keyboard a little bit with the in the background, I think the melodies really, really suffer on this record. And melody is a monster deal. Melody, along with that off-time drum beat, is what keeps that listener tuned in, keeps them singing the song after they've turned it off, which is a very important if you want to make it, because if somebody forgets you as soon as somebody hits stop on their Spotify account or whatever, they're never going to remember you. So I think that everything is going in a good direction here. We got a couple more songs. So we got Pay to Play, which I'm sure is an ode to the music scene out there in the clubs in the world, which is piss poor. I'm just telling you right now. But yeah, we're going to rock out these couple tunes. I'm going to give you my full view of the record, and the taco score and all of that stuff too. And so stick around. We are almost done. This is, like I said, Pay to Play on the full album review of the Anonymous Henchmen record, Reborn, right? Isn't that it? I think. Hell, I don't know. I'm not a professional, but I play one on TV.
Running fast, watching drift on ways, you recognize and it kills at the end of the day.
What's up? This is Vil from Fuck the Facts, and you're listening to The Moose.
Indeed you are. This is the Moose here in the Moose Pit in Oklahoma City doing a full album review of the Anonymous Henchmen. So, I liked the almost kind of Sabbathy riff at the end of that with that little bit of a twin lead in there. The one thing that I think I would have really liked on the record was really like the consistency of the music, the tempo, the way the music grooves as a whole. But I think it would have been cool to do one song at a very, very either slow, almost sludge style, and show off some of those twin leads and that guitar melody because it's really nice. And then maybe kind of utilize and spotlight the bass playing, giving some room to breathe. You guys do a pretty good job of that. There's a lot of breathing room, but it would have been cool to really slow it down, way down into first gear, and see how well you can carry those melodies and the possibilities of, because it's hard to do. You guys are obviously good at the tempo that you do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, just on a showcase kind of a deal, it'd have been interesting to hear kind of even if it would have been a half and half track, you know what I mean, where the first half of the song would have been up in the 120 BPMs, and then you just drop it, tank it down into a typo negative time signature, and just get low and slow. But yeah, man, just an idea, something. It's one of those things that where you can crank from that really nice. You guys are so good at the riffing. Reminds me a lot of Darkest Hour, which I like. And then you just turn into that riff that gives you the bulldog face. You're just like, So anyway, just me throwing that out there. It's an idea for the next record. You can call it Moose Jam. It'd be awesome. The last cut on the record coming up here, a song called 21 Days, which is, I have no idea what it's about, but it is the end cut. And listen to me, the end cut is such a big deal to me. You got to start good, and they did, and you've got to end good, because it's the preamble to the next release, and I think that is mega important. So not very many people think about that anymore, but it's a big deal. Come on, think about Damage Incorporated. Just you can do this. Here we go. 21 Days, Anonymous Henchmen.
Everything's fine until you feel your stomach falling.
Hey, this is Caesar from Zero Theorem, and you are listening to Moose's Soundcheck on Metal Moose Radio.
All right, so we're wrapping it up. I'm going to give that is maybe, I'm going to give it a 3.5. I didn't like the clean vocal at all. I loved the clean guitar. I think that the bass player should have really taken advantage of that space and used it to show what he's got laying on the bottom end there. Man, as a whole, the record, I'd probably give about a 4 taco. There, the muddiness of the leads and the melody really, really bugs me. It's not enough to make me not like the album because it was good. It's a good full record of good music. But the number one thing I would do besides making that lead guitar stand out and those melodies really stand out is, and I'm saying this not because I think that you're a bad vocalist, so don't think that. I think a vocal coach would be really good. I think you guys, if you learn to sing together as a band, even if you have to use MIDI to control it, if you're worried about doing it live, if your vocal harmonies matched your guitar harmonies, I think that would probably catapult your sound big time. I really liked it. Like as a somebody, if I'm sitting at a big wooden table with you guys with a bunch of suits with pins and a lot of money, I would suggest that they sign you. I would say this band has got the potential to do things. There are going to be things that I think need to be tweaked, need to be changed around a little bit. Just like I said, maybe the length of the songs, maybe a little bit of the vocal harmony. I would utilize the twin guitars a whole lot more. I would utilize the keyboards too. I think that the keyboard kind of EDM techno sounds really fit well with your music. So I as a whole, I give it a 4 taco. It's really, really good and so much to work with. A lot of positive outlook for the future. Like, it's a record that's worth buying and listening to now. But to me, I'm more excited to hear 3 records from now when these guys have solidified everything they're awesome at. And they just kind of come out to kick your ass. To me, this record was kind of a grappling match. You know what I mean? They're like, here we are, we're good, we're going to throw you around a little bit, and we're going to see if you like us. We hope that you like our sound. But the best moments of the record, and what I feel like is in the future for this band, is when they come out and they're like, we're not asking you to like us, you're going to like us. The confidence level in some of the tunes could be raised up a couple notches. And that's why, like, Inner Demon has a lot of moxie in it. There's a lot of moxie all over the place, but it's not a consistent moxie. You know, consistent moxie is important. So, man, really cool. Thanks to the guys for Anonymous Henchmen for letting me do this. I'd love to do this. And real quick, just a plug for myself. If you're in a band and you want a full album review, just contact me, moose@themetalmoose.com, and we'll get it done for you. This is a good one, people. Go find them. Go get the record, and listen to it and share it with people, because there's big stuff coming for this band. There's no doubt about it. With the elements that they're good at, that they showcased on this record, there's a lot of good coming out of this. I don't normally hand out 4s, because a lot of times people are bad at making albums. People make a collection of songs anymore, and it's so eclectic, and you can't hold on to it. This is a nice, well-wrapped package of tunes, nice talent, good melodies, good catching your head pieces. The production is pretty good, probably an 8 out of 10. I would really work on that guitar sound if it were me, but if you guys want me to be in the studio with you next time, I will. We'll get you an old Ibanez overdrive, and we'll dry up that rhythm sound, and we'll have your lead guitar sticking out like a Viagra mark. Anyways, man, thanks so much once again. My name's Moose. This is Soundchecked full album review. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. I say it at the end of every show. You wake up, you kick ass, you repeat until we take care of each other. Do it. Until next time, take care.
All rights to the music heard on the Metal Moose are reserved by the authors, their labels, or authorized representatives that permitted their material to be used.
The Metal Moose holds no rights to any music played on the show. Go to themetalmoose.com to submit your music to be heard on the show. Metal Moose accepts donations of money, Cheetos, bacon, and naked pictures. Thank you for tuning in and subscribe on iTunes. Rock out when you rack out and consider yourself moosed.